If my video will work. Hello and welcome to the 18th of September Backdrop CMS documentation meeting. This is where we meet to discuss how we can improve our documentation and specifically the documentation site that we have and the documentation within it. We'll start with some brief introductions. My name is Martin Price. I'm Yorkshire Pudding around Backdrop, and I'm a Backdrop developer in North East England.
My name is Tim. I'm St. Paul Tim in most of the forums and GitHub. And I am here in Deerwood, Minnesota on a nice fall, sort of sunny day. Been so busy lately. I wish I had more time for Backdrop. Sorry, Izzy, I stepped on you. Your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't realize you went down. Yeah. I'm Izzy. I'm a freelance developer and site builder in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we're having a wonderful day here too. So I'm happy to be here to discuss Backdrop.
Okay. Great. Martin, what's up?
Okay, well, in our last documentation meeting, we discussed the need for having better control of revisions and the ability specifically to be able to start making revisions before they're actually and be able to save them on the site without them being ready for publishing. And so I've taken that a step forward, and I've installed on a local copy of the documentation site the enforce revision log module and also the draft workflow module. We do have an open issue to try and get diff to work with it, which I'm not sure that we've had any progress on. But anyway, we will ignore the diff issue for now, and we'll just look at how well it might work for revisions with these two modules. So I will now share my screen. I can. Yeah. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I see it.
Cool. Right. Okay. So this is a bit of contrib documentation that I've enabled the revision log for, and we're just going to look at what it looks like. So at the moment, I'm guessing it's showing anonymous here just because of the way it's downloaded from a sanitized database. I don't think it says that on the main site, but we'll ignore that for now. So this is what the draft workflow module gives us. It gives us the ability to copy the current revision. So what we're going to do is we'll just add some brief text at the bottom, and we'll add some. Is this a new one with your module, Tim? The view changes button.
No.
I wonder if that's from diff. Well, let's save it anyway first. Okay, so we've got. So you notice that it hasn't. What it hasn't done is it hasn't updated it because we've just created a new revision that hasn't yet been updated. Now, if we were to then, we can go and make further edits to that revision, or we can delete it, or we can make a current revision. So let us
The current
go.
revision being what's published to the public.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we wanted to update it, I'm just going to see what this button does. Oh no, it just opens in. It doesn't do anything, I don't think.
It looks grayed out to me.
Sorry?
Is it grayed out?
No, it's just the same as these buttons, but I don't know what view changes.
Oh,
I don't understand that either. I don't think it has anything to do with the draft workflow module, but I could be wrong.
No. So anyway, if we now decide that obviously this is on my local site, so I'm not changing this on the main site. But if we now decide that we want to, I'll just make a quick change there. We'll save that and then go back to the revision tabs and say, yeah, now we're ready to make this the current revision. So we've now got, this is now the current revision. So let's go and view this page again. So now this new page is live. What this will do, I think it should. So if let's copy the current revision, and I'm creating a new revision. I'm going to just see if it lets me save it without doing the revision log. It shouldn't because I've enabled the module. But it does. So obviously something's not.
So forcing
working.
Revisions didn't work.
It's not. Let's have a quick look and make sure. So we've got enforce log message.
You've got to create new revision.
Yeah.
No, that's enforce create new revision. That just means that it will always enforce creating a new revision, and I haven't enabled that because I didn't think that would be helpful with the draft workflow module, because we're not always creating a new revision. And it shouldn't need that. And what I've also done in
so you were testing to see if it would force you to create a message.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have.
Are you logged in as an admin because you have the ability to override?
I'm logged in using my account, so I'm not. Which I have developer rights, but I've disabled the skip revision log message for developer for everyone.
And you're also overriding the create new revision.
Yeah, I think that's that other permission.
That's where the default. So let's just check I'm just going to check in here, see whether I need to do anything in here. So enable option to create revisions, and I've got here enforce users to enter a log message for every revision. I think maybe I need to do some more. I need to look a bit more at the patch that I've done for the enforce rev log, and I might need to work out, because what I didn't want to do was enforce a new message if there already was one, but I want to be forcing a new a revision log if someone's creating a new revision by copying the current revision. So if I now edit that, it will update it, so I can at least update it. But what I want is for it to do that. So it's not quite there yet, but I think in general it illustrates that this approach could work, albeit we don't have the diff working yet. We do have an issue on the diff module, but I'm not sure that there's been any action on that yet.
Well, this is my end.
Sorry, this is a very good demonstration, and the possibilities of how it might be configured for revision messages, it can be determined later. But so could you just show us once more, if you go in and create a new copy, and edit it, but don't make it current. Do you have one of those left now?
Mm-hmm.
This second, okay.
Well, this is I'm making a copy of the current revision. So I've already got a revision with a different.
Yes, you've already made another change. So you've now got two branches of the revision.
Yes.
I've now got two branches of the current revision.
Right. Now, if I want to just view a revision, then I
think you just go to that.
Right.
So you can see what it looks like.
And then if I want to edit that, I can't edit it from here.
No. You have to go back to revisions and then select to edit.
Right.
But I don't know what I think that's about core. I don't think core provides a mechanism to edit from viewing a revision.
Well, could that that's not from the draft revision module? That's
no, I think it. So I think basically the lack of an edit button is in when you're viewing a revision is in core.
Right.
As far as I know.
Okay.
It's possible that could be fixed. Again, Joseph and I worked on the draft workflow module, and we spent a lot of time trying to think about things like where the edit button should go. But there were some things I know that we tried that just were too hard. But there were other things that once you did them, then it ended up kind of confusing. We worried that it introduced confusion risk, that people might not understand what they were doing.
Yeah.
Well, if you were in the revision view that you were looking at it, and it had the same kind of menu that you would normally see with a node where you could view or edit it, would that really be confusing?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if it might be. Like
Yeah.
from this page,
not.
it's really clear. If you're
Yeah.
looking at, there's 4 different revisions, and when you pick an edit button, you know which one you're editing.
Yeah.
If you
It's
went
very
to
clear.
to view a version of the
If you go
revision,
there and you had an edit button,
yeah,
it might
would
not be 100% clear
right?
that
Are you
you're
editing?
editing the revision or you're editing.
Yeah, the original, right?
So you would have to, you'd almost have to make the tab say edit this revision.
Yeah, which is possible. Yeah.
Um,
And I'm not saying we tried that, and it seems like a reasonable idea. Um, if it's something you wanted to like open an issue for in the module, I'm not promising anything, but
Right.
we could look at that. It's an intriguing idea. I'm just not sure if I like it yet or not.
Well, it's also showing you the title, so you do know which one you're looking at, and which one you want to. If it's the tab menu, edit or view it, you've got the title for reference.
Okay.
Anyway, that's just more about the
Yeah.
UI
Yeah.
of the workflow, right?
Yeah. Well, most of our work on this module has been around the UI, trying to figure out. There's a lot of potential for confusion if it's not implemented correctly. So we spent a lot of time trying to reduce confusion.
Right, but this is a good example of making use of it.
Yeah.
And now the other thing here is you've actually got the potential for collaboration, but 2 totally different developments going on, right? Which wouldn't be the normal workflow, but it could happen where people, are doing something different, and you've got two drafts.
Yeah, but I guess what we should, as a community, because we have limited time, we do try and avoid duplication, and I'm not sure how desirable it would be to have, and unless we weren't sure about something and we said, well, you create someone and you create something and we'll decide, but generally we try and not to have the same effort being done, which we see. I don't know if you if you're following in Zulip that we seem to have spectacularly failed with that in the context of password strength, in that Herb had started porting it 5 years ago and forgotten about it. Herb, I'd started porting it, but not finished it. Herb created a brand new module, all using the same library. So we've had 3 module efforts on the same module.
Oh, that's too bad, but it happened. It happens.
It happens, yeah. So I'm not sure how much we'd want that to happen in documentation, but what you've got the option. So, for example, where we had an issue where we're trying to update something, and maybe you want to have multiple people working on it, you could have one person do their bit of a change, and then someone else could go in and edit that revision in order to get it so that it's in order to edit a different bit of it, or maybe that they might go in and correct a typo here or there, or so in that sense you could have collaborate. I think you'd want to have collaboration on the same revision, normally.
Ideally, yeah. Anyways, I think the point we're making is that it's possible to sort of fork and have two different forward
Yeah.
revisions. We would try to avoid that. But there is no current way to prevent that. So it's just something we'd have to watch out for. Having the diff module work would make it a little easier to identify and deal with that kind of problem, because then you could do two different diffs and sort of see how they're different. But right
Yeah.
now that's a little difficult. So I think getting the diff module working would be pretty important.
So on that note, on this local site that you've created, Martin, do you have the diff module enabled?
Yeah, so the diff module will be enabled because it's part of the build that I downloaded. It was probably a few weeks ago that I downloaded it. So
Right.
but yes, the diff module is enabled.
Okay. Great.
And
Yeah.
you can see it, but obviously we're not seeing it because because of the draft workflow, it doesn't work.
Right. So the other thing is, if you now go to the actual published content that you were using as your example,
yeah,
and if you view that,
yeah,
so this is what it would look like to anybody visiting the site.
yeah.
And so people who are working on it wouldn't necessarily, they would have to know that there is a draft revision going on here. They wouldn't see anything until they come into the revisions.
Well, certainly, I mean, this is Contrib, but let's go have a look on another, let's say look at developing modules, and if we go to edit this, what we do have is the ability, I mean, we could possibly add to this these statuses. So it is enforcing it here. So it could be that we could also add documentation status as being so it does look like on this particular one, it is enforcing it. So, but it wasn't enforcing it on the Contrib one. So let's have a look. But anyway, that Izzy, to answer your question, that would be if we expanded this list to maybe say under revision, we could, that could flag up to someone that there was an in progress revision.
Right, and then you might be able to search for that in your contents. If you were trying to find what pages are currently being reviewed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a view, so.
One of my feature requests for draft workflow is views support, so that we could easily create a view of all nodes that have forward revisions. And right now there's no way to create a view of that. And I think that would make the draft workflow module a lot better if it had a way of showing, flagging content automatically that needed to be reviewed.
Well, that would be a future.
Yeah, that could be a future thing. Yeah, it doesn't have to block us now.
Well, I think this is very good, being able to see how the draft workflow could work.
Okay, so I think at our last meeting, what we had talked about was how do we make this happen? And we do have, Irina is in charge of the internal sites project. And so the question is, how do we make a decision to go ahead and add these modules? So
do we need, well,
the first step is to test them.
Is it a dependency that we also get it working with diff? Given that we currently have diff, is it going to be a problem if we suddenly go to not having diff?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to have it working with diff, because that will give us a chance to see what else is going on with this UI once you add diff into the mix.
But the question was, is it a requirement? So I think it's definitely would be helpful, but I think Martin is asking, is it a blocker if it doesn't? And I'm not sure of that, but I can see where it might be, especially because we already had diff. These modules are just incompatible right now. I don't know how hard it's going to be to make them compatible.
No, I don't think it's an either or thing. I think I think that this would be helpful even as it is, if people know that it's available. And so to ask the powers that be for the backdrop website, documentation, if they would see to adding this module. Is there a series of modules here, or one module and then configuration?
Well, there's draft workflow and also enforced revision log. So I think what it would, we kind of want doing the pull request to put the modules on and the config in is something I'm fairly sure I can do from this, but I haven't tried doing a pull request yet from this local docs site, so I'm not sure how easy it will be to do, but in theory I can do that. But I think there is probably a policy thing as to
let me jump in there on that.
We do this? We think it's worthwhile, but for now it will mean that we don't have diff.
Right. Let me jump in there on the policy end. So that's what I've been thinking about that, and we talked about this last week. Getting changes to our core sites has been sometimes a little bit tricky to know, like who makes that decision and when and how does it happen. We did recently put Irina in charge of the web team, and the web team is supposed to be empowered to make these kinds of decisions. I don't believe that the web team really has operated yet in this kind of scenario. So what I think we talked about was testing the web team by basically proposing this. So I think we have an issue already in the issue queue on the documentation site to do this. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I think the thing to do, Martin, would be to just, I'm in the process of creating a post to the web team in Zula, which anybody, I believe, can join the web team.
Yeah.
Although this is intended to be for...
It did say on the original thing that it was just about backdropcms.org. So, as in the welcome, it said it was just about backdropcms.org. So I wasn't clear that it was actually covering the other internal sites.
You're right. Okay, the confidence in my voice just drained, but it's not gone. Um,
Well, it sounds like
we, we, we need to,
Irina's going to have some more time available. She said she'd
yeah.
be available next week at office hours, so it might be an opportunity to move things forward there in terms of it. Now you've got a video here demonstrating what you have in mind and how it will work. So
Yep.
that's fantastic. And the link to this video can be added to the issue.
Yep.
So I think
Let's do this. Can I interrupt quickly? So first of all, clarify a few things. We have a documentation channel, which is open to anyone to join to talk about documentation issues. The web team is a closed channel because the idea is that this is a working group, that it's like if you want to join the web team, you should, I think, let Irina know. The point is it's for people who are managing the sites. It does look like I have to review. The PMC sort of made a decision about the web team, and I need to review what that is. But the web team does say it's for backdropcms.org. It doesn't say for all the sites, which I was hoping it was for all the sites. Either way, I would bring this request to the web team and ask them if they're empowered to make this decision, and that will at least push this forward. Okay, and then because if they say no, then we need to come up with the next who is empowered to do that, and maybe it should be you, Martin, because you're in charge of the documentation site. Well, you're in charge of the documentation working group.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was ever determined that you get to decide what goes on the site.
No, I don't. I don't think it was. I mean, I get. I think I'm now an administrator on the docs issue queue, so that's one thing. So I think there is a certain level of empowerment, but whether there is still a certain veto.
We'll have to sort that out. So the idea is just to push it forward. Just sort of to ask at the next level.
we can certainly we can certainly do this. And it may be that when we flag up, at the moment this involves diff, it may be that will prompt someone to say, oh, I can fix that easy.
Yeah. Well, it's on my agenda, but my agenda is too full, so I don't know if I'm going to get to it. I'd love for somebody else to.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes people, sometimes people in the community, there's an issue will inspire them, and they'll just like knock it off in an afternoon. And
and
let's be hopeful.
I think this demonstration you've put together, Martin, is very helpful in moving this issue forward. So thank you very much for doing that. It will have it's right there. So I think it'll be much easier for other people to help move this thing forward. Then we can get on with the documentation, which is what we want to be able to add to.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's we'll open an issue. We'll push this to the web team. We'll see what happens from there. But we want to try to keep this moving. Yeah. Good work keeping it moving so far. And anything else for today?
I don't think there is anything else for today. I mean, that was the main focus, I think.
Okay. Well, this was a step forward. So
very worthwhile. Thank you.
Let's celebrate our win and keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I end the stream?
I think we can do now. So join us in I think 4 weeks time for the next documentation meeting. We'd love you to join us on the actual meeting itself. If not, please engage with us in the docs, docs issue queue or the Zulip docs channel. the more hands that we get on building our documentation, the better it will be for everyone.